What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, Old Man Wade, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter. You know who I am, and if you don't, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. Today I'll be joined by Crown Rebecca, one of my favorite Twitter people where we talk a bunch of TV, so I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of get into some of the shows we watch, especially Law & Order. We'll get into some evil, and she brings up the topic about Monique, so enjoy. Call me Old Man Wade.
Damn you, old man!
Wait.
Old ass man.
Shut up, old man. You smell like fart.
No!
Old man.
He's so old, he got a podcast on cassette.
Fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade.
And welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter, Old Man Wade. And I am with a Twitter buddy, one of the most positive people that I actually met on Twitter, which is saying a lot when you talk about the internet, because, you know, people are people. So, tell everybody who you are.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, aka Crown Riri. I'm a podcaster, a blogger, a positive black joy motivator. And I also host the Flowers for the Culture podcast with my co-host, Mr. Al Pete. We give flowers to the culture as far as putting a spotlight on the actress, actor, anything in the culture of music. And then my podcast, the Crown Talk podcast, where I talk about black joy, mental health, self-care, all the good stuff in the jar.
Absolutely. And I love the, I haven't seen him in a while, but he used to do these, random spotlights, just on Twitter, today, and I remember probably my favorite was Regina King and Viola Davis, because those are the two that I really think deserve their flowers more than a lot of people, because people forget Viola Davis has an EGOT. She's got an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. She has a fucking Tony. What I mean? There's not a lot of people who can say that, let alone a lot of black people, let alone a lot of black women who can say that. I think it's
I think Whoopi Goldberg is the only one.
Yep. It's just her. It's a league of their own. It's just her and Whoopi Goldberg. That's it. That's how small that group is. I hope one day Regina King gets into that club. I think she's too talented not to.
I agree. And they should have more awards to give to people where if you don't get the EGOT, you got the ECAP or something. I don't know.
Absolutely.
The Director's Award. She directs all the time.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. I can see Regina King getting an EGOT just off of her directing and producing.
Yeah.
She stepped into that lane, and it's just been incredible.
Yes.
I was telling my grandmother recommended The Harder They Fall, and she's a big Western fan. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was gonna watch it without my wife, but then I realized I looked at the cast, and she was like, I would have killed you if you watched this without me.
Exactly.
And so we're watching it, and I stand by this. It was the best movie to come out in 2021.
Yes.
And
I overly enjoyed it.
And it's an all-black cast, all-black crew, black writers, and that one N-bomb was dropped the entire movie.
The entire movie. Yeah. When I saw the preview, because you're always I'm going for who's black, and I was like, everyone in here is black, so I don't know if I want anybody to die or just live or and I'm a big Idris Elba fan. I talk about it on the show, but my dad kind of favors him a lot, so it's kind of I have a crush on Idris Elba, but I love my dad, so I don't know.
Do you know what's funny is I am a known Idris Elba hater, specifically because he's perfect, and it kind of bothers me that he's as perfect as he is. So it's legitimately hate. But Idris Elba is super duper talented, and the end of it with him and Jonathan Majors, it was just it was so emotional. And and even when you don't really see the end, you may have seen the ending coming, but just the two of them together, Jonathan Majors really trying to hold in those tears. And some people just can't. People can cry, but it's one thing to fight the tears. In a moment like that kind of set me off. I was like, yeah, you did. I was like, Jonathan Majors, you did the thing there.
Yes, I always enjoy him. But you're right, the fighting, the holding the tears without making the ugly face is really hard.
Exactly that. Oh my god! Yeah, I don't want to. I want to talk about ugly faces, but I really want to. I was going to bring up Olivia Benson, but we're not there yet. We're ugly face, ugly face cries. But let's get into some TV. I want to talk about. Before we get into TV, bring up. I want to talk about something that your show does: the importance of Black joy. And let's see. I'll just read the topic out. We have asked you if there's anything you wanted to speak about, and you said the importance of Black joy and the honeypot owner speaking her truth on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. So we start with the Black joy. So I am a big Bob Marley fan, and one of his songs is called War. And he talks about how we keep dividing ourselves up, like we're never going to be together. And so I made a promise that when I created my platform, I was going to push joy, especially Black joy, because I feel like during like the 2020, I was watching a short story, but during the 2020, I was watching like the BET Awards. And that was like around the time of George Floyd and us being stuck in the house. And we just was just like, the BET Awards to me was like so depressing because people, like the commercial was like, hey, we're Black. These are the struggles we're going through. And I was like, we should be talking about like our joy of being Black. Like we shouldn't have to like continue to tell people like just only our struggles and like that's it. So my whole thing now just promoting Black joy, through music, through positive posting, through giving flowers to actors. Even like me, every time I go out, like I give a compliment to like a Black woman, her hair, her dress, something, or even like Black men, which I try to do, but so I'd be like, okay, what's the phone number? And I'm like, I'm just trying to give you a compliment. So I'm working on that, but just the joy of it, because I believe that, once we get back on social media, once we watch TV, we're always surrounded with the struggles of being Black. And it's like this is our skin, and we should be able to enjoy having the joy of being Black.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thing with Black joy.
I love that, though. And especially the idea is like and I include myself in this, like sometimes we do have this idea of focusing on the struggle to show our strength as opposed to showing our strength to show our actual strength. And I think that's something big that we as Black people don't do enough. And maybe it's just because it's ingrained in us, because it's always like, I had to fight my whole life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like even like when we start like telling our story, it started off like with the struggle of this is what I did. Like I always like we'll never talk about Jay-Z's success before we talk about him selling crack. Like that always comes first.
Yeah.
Like he sold crack, and it's like yes, but now like we can start off with saying he is a billionaire for these reasons. Like we don't have to go that far back for him selling crack. It's fine. We know it. We understand the origin story.
It was over 30 years ago. We can move on. Like, you know what I mean?
We can definitely move on. He has like 3 kids now. I mean
3 whole kids. Like he's a producer. Like he's married to one of like who we consider like Black royalty. I don't know if you saw the sketch on SNL when it was like Beyonce's Black, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, like people just found out like 3 years ago that she's Black.
Yeah. And then like and they're like, what happened? Michael Che was like, oh, white people just found out that Beyonce's Black.
They just found out because she never. I mean, like her pop music was talking about love and everything, but people just really got wrapped up in that, and she was like, no, Black is king. So
yeah,
a reminder that I'm Black. And again, even with Black is king, there was so much joy in that. It's like, this is Blackness. It doesn't always have to start off with the origin story of us struggling. And we're not going to forget the origin story of that either. I mean, we have it. We got it.
Like, it's literally ingrained in us. Like, it's just, like, there's something, like, literally, like, we won't forget as people. And part of me understands it because you don't really want to forget the things that we've been through. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think it should necessarily be, like, the actual focus on that. Like, there's a lot of things that Black people have created. We're integral in the light bulb, the filament in the light bulb, the cell phone, the stoplight. I think the stop sign.
I believe so.
So there are a lot of things that attribute to just us living better lives, healthier lives, and safer lives. Yeah.
And even with me going to school, I'm learning that even like the transition of being unenslaved or free, families were even tighter together at that time. You know, we have this stigma of Black families just being separated and not together, and like the single father or the single mother. And it's like, no, we actually were like together longer than white people when freedom came.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, and for people asking why black people don't why it's a big deal for a lot of black people with Juneteenth, is because like July 4th doesn't really mean anything to us. We were still enslaved. Like that didn't mean shit to us. It didn't happen until like June 19th. So it is what it is. Like just not everything has to include you. Just like let's take it from a race thing to a sexist thing. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily need to be involved in everything my wife does. Like she has female friends, she has women friends. Like I don't need to be involved in all that. Like that's like if it's a woman's get together, I don't need to be part of this.
And you're okay with that?
Absolutely, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with me.
Right? Yeah. When you say that, I think about like the advice. Like the men that give advice to women, I'm like, that has nothing to do with you. Like you don't know this over here. Like leave that alone.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like and I'll be the first one to champion women, black women, LGBTQ plus, and I will champion them. But again, like if certain things don't involve me, it's like I just step the fuck back. Like Roe v. Wade is like, yo, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, you know what I mean? I
respect that then more than people, saying, because I know, like, I support black men, like, to my heart, because my dad is black, my nephew's black, and it's like, I feel like if I shame one black man, I'm behind the scenes, like, shaming them. But like you said, I would rather a black man be quiet and be educated about Roe versus Wade than to get on the internet and say stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I just put it like this: just be safe. Like that's really all I care about. And the reason I have a big issue with it is because something my wife said: banning abortions isn't going to stop abortions, and that was her biggest thing. She was like, people are still going to die. You're gonna go back to these like basement abortions or these motel room abortions, and if you don't believe in it because of whatever reason, that's fine, but don't ban somebody else from doing it because it really does have nothing. Even like from woman to woman, it doesn't have anything to. If woman A doesn't agree with woman B, that's fine, but it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. For some reason, we can't get through that on the internet. Or anywhere else.
The internet is such a gift and a curse. Like I swear to you, you either find. I will say this is I'm lucky enough that I think, and this is going to be high for someone who's on the internet saying the stupid stuff that I do. 95% of my interactions on Twitter are positive. 95% of my interactions on Twitter have been positive. I get more backlash from people on my Facebook friends list than I do on Twitter or Instagram. And
oh wow, from strangers.
Yeah, I get more positivity than I do from people I know. And I'm just like, was Pusha T? Pusha T has the best "I don't care" I've ever heard in my life. He was on Joe Budden. He's like, "I don't care," and that's really what I'm at now. It's like I go on Facebook, I post my stuff, I get right the fuck back off.
Yeah, I was telling a friend, I was like, me not being like on social media, like I probably like how the people who makes the whole do this and do that agenda, that doesn't stop me from like the blessings that I have as far as with me podcasting and blogging, because I know what my intentions are. My intentions were never to be social media famous. I would go bonkers if that was the case.
Yeah. Just so everyone listening, I'll make sure I promote it again. It's crownones.com, CROWNONES.com. So let's get into Honeypot owner, speaking her truth on the Breakfast Club. I don't know anything about this, so tell me what that's about.
Okay, so yeah, the Honeypot owner. Let me look up her name real quick. I'm sorry. Usually have all my ducks in a row. But there was a TikTok that was saying that the Honeypot owner, Beatrice Dixon, was no longer the owner of Honeypot, which Honeypot is like the female hygienic body washes and all that good stuff. Now, maybe like a couple of years ago, there was some white women like putting the reviews down on her because she was selling in Target, and so they were trying to like stop her from selling like her product in Target. Well, black women came together and helped her push her products on Target. That was a couple of years ago. So now a black woman went on TikTok, and was like, she's not the owner anymore. These products are not natural anymore. All this stuff. So everybody on Twitter and wherever else, like, was pulling up like old interviews about her and like basically like just shaming her for the thought of her not owning her company anymore. And so she went on the Breakfast Club and she was like, I am still the owner. And this is how, how the backlash has hurt me as an owner because now like my sales are low. And it's like what she said was like, how people had come together for her, black folks came together for her during the time when white people were, downgrading her. Now it's like the black people are downgrading her and she's like, I'm still the owner. Now there was some changes with the product, of course, because of this inflation and everything is like not available to anybody. Yeah. One thing that I'm noticing is like the chicken wings are like extra smaller here in Florida. I don't know about where you are. I'm like, this isn't chicken wings. Like, what is this? But needless to say, she did admit that she should have came out and said about the products not being, the same as it was 4 years ago, like any other company that changes their products when it's not available anymore. But I just acknowledge her for just going on a Breakfast Club and speaking her truth and not sugarcoating it, that it was black people, again, rooting her on and then being upset with her about not knowing the truth of what's really going on with her.
Well, I think that's a problem with ownership in general is I don't think people actually really do understand what that means because a lot goes into it. Because beyond just being an owner, you're in this day and age, you're also the face. Mm-hmm. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the court of Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. So even if you pull up, I also have an issue with people who go back and look at old videos of someone, depending on how long it was. Sometimes people change. If some kid who's like 14 years old said some racial, some sexist shit, and then changes 5 years later, like, okay, well, they're an asshole. Like that's all fine and well. If she said something way back when, what was in what context does it mean? What does it mean in the context of now? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
She's still the owner of the business. And to your point, she owned up to the fact that maybe she should have said something else. And that's super important. And I think that is the biggest takeaway from what you're telling me is that she acknowledged that maybe I should have done this way. And like, you know what I mean? And that alone should be enough for people to go, okay, well, I understand. Doesn't mean you have to go back and buy the products anymore. But right. You should probably stop shaming her or jumping up on her because of this.
Yeah, like some people, I think she had like an interview like 2 years ago when she was saying like her mindset is to one day sell the company. And people were like using that, but I think you said I wouldn't say normal people. Me personally, I don't know like the whole ins and outs of ownership. Yeah. Maybe it is more, especially like product wise, for her to sell her company to a bigger, corporation. But I believe that if that was the case, she would have made that announcement. Cause I'm sure that would have been like a joy moment for her if she decided to do that. I don't think it would have been like behind the scenes. Hey, like hush, don't say anything. But yeah, I just like when she was going like the whole thing, and like person who put the TikTok out there that she wasn't black owned anymore. Like they're never going to apologize for it. Absolutely. And no one's going to go back and say, "Oh yeah, we misunderstood it. We apologize." Like nobody's going to do that, unfortunately.
No, because there's way more money in the controversy than it is about the positivity. Like like who wants to hear? Oh, I can't believe someone changed who they are and they're championing who it is, and everyone wants to hear. Perfect example. I have a love-hate relationship with Joe Budden's podcast and Joe Budden in general. Like he'll say some really stupid, nasty, sexist shit, and then pop up and completely shut some shit down when it comes to his sexuality. And someone's like, "Oh, you're bi." And he goes, "Okay." They asked him if he was bi. He goes, "What difference would it make?" And the guy was like, "Oh, here you go." He goes, "No. What difference would it make to this conversation?" He goes, "Is it going to change the way you guys look at me?" He goes, what if I said yes, and then some David Beckham looking dude comes in here and that's who I'm leaving with? And I was like, he's not wrong. What difference is who I'm fucking does it make to anybody else? And so like,
that's very true though. We get caught up in that, like the whole like Laura Harvey and Michael B. Jordan thing. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care.
Oh my God, the people on both ends who are just getting on them. It's like, oh, like, yeah, Laura, get out of that toxic relationship. Like, wait. Was it toxic?
Right.
Like,
but that's the thing you're talking about, like earlier, like the struggle. Like everybody wants to have like that struggle. Like we would put a struggle story on a relationship that we know nothing about.
yeah, like stop it. Like,
yeah,
relationships end. Like, and if it was straight for publicity, fine. Still has nothing to do with me. Now, if it comes out and either one of them were doing some nasty stuff, I'd be like, all right, well, this was nasty. Like, you'll never catch me at a Chris Brown concert ever. Like, Chris Brown is on. First off, I don't like his music. I've never liked his music. Second off, he's a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing, like, you know, the whole thing with him and Rihanna. Like, if he just completely changed his ways, like, the stain of that will never leave him. But at least you can be like, all right, well, he's become a better person. He has not become a better person. He's still stalking women. He's got restraining orders out on him. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, I will say I do enjoy seeing him dance, but I understand what you're saying.
Oh, he's super duper talented. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like his music, but he can sing. I don't like him personally, but he can dance. He's a great performer. Actually, I'm lying. He has one song I like, and it's got Busta and Lil Wayne on it.
Oh, look at me now.
Yeah, he works that song, so I'll give him that. And I can thankfully say I've never liked R. Kelly, so he has one song.
Oh yeah,
We don't even need to go there. We can just leave that alone. So, and now we come to Monique.
Yeah,
my babies. Yo, someone made a meme, and this was really rude. It was her as Ursula talking to like Jafar and all like the Disney like villains. And she
my goodness!
And she goes, I love you all the most. I'm like, yo, y'all are rude for that. I was like, that was.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, y'all ain't even right for that. So before you start, I want to get this part out. I am not a Monique fan.
Okay.
I understand and recognize that she was super popular in the comedic world for a while, and then she did Precious, and she kind of, from my perspective, from what I've seen, and it could just be my ignorance, I didn't really see her do any stand up. There was nothing that was really like popping off, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Then the whole thing when it was just like Netflix was like, "Oh, I want you to perform for us." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't blame her for being mad. I'll be damned if someone's gonna be like, come in the office and perform for me." I'm like, and I'm not your dancing monkey, so no. I was with her.
Right, yeah,
absolutely with her. But she was like, "I deserve more money because Amy Schumer gets this and Dave Chappelle gets that." I'm like, "You're not Amy Schumer and you're not Dave Chappelle."
No, you're not.
And then she was like, her comedic resume. I was like, your comedic resume? Like, you were in the Queens of Comedy, and that's pretty much where it goes. And I remember D.O. Hughley actually came out and was talking about her because she questioned, like, his sexuality. She talked about his dog. She talked about his wife. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And he said something, and this is, I think, a problem that all of us have. And not in all of us. And I mean that in the general statement that a lot of people will weaponize their struggle to make their platform look better. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And something D.O. Hughley said kind of stuck with me when he says she weaponizes the plight of black women and feminism to that. And I was like, holy shit, she really does. But you as a black woman, I can't necessarily say how true it is, but it did make me think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree or disagree with what's going on, but because this was a topic you wanted to bring up, so I'd like to know, what is your opinion on Monique?
Yeah, so as a black woman, I don't divide as far as like I'll say this, as a black woman, I always call out like bullshit if a black woman does like something wrong. And I agree with D.L. Hughley, and I'm calling Monique as far as what she's doing, like, it's bullshit at this time. At a night of celebration where you're back on stage and you are doing a comedy show and you're supposed to be spreading black joy, this whole conversation took over and took away from her comedic role about D.L. Hughley and his family and his wife and his dog and his children. And I feel like you said, you're using that to overlook the fact that maybe you're not as funny as you thought you were. Maybe the ticket didn't sell out, or when you got on stage, there was like nobody out there. Like it could be like a couple of things that could have been wrong with that. But I believe like that those conversations should be like behind the scenes. Like we should know nothing about that. Or maybe like you do an interview and you say, well, this is what happened, but we solved it. Yeah. I feel like everything like is on Front Street with her, and it's always something negative. And even like we can't even celebrate her, being like on 50 Cent's roster now because she's again attached to a pain or drama, not even a pain, like this unhappiness that she has.
Oh my God, that is the perfect way to put it. It really is just. It seems like it's unhappiness. Mm-hmm.
I always say like certain people, they will not have a good day no matter what. Like they would not find their joy. It's like it kills them to be happy. It just kills them.
Yeah, and it's so weird, man. Like, and and this is coming from someone who spent a lot of time being very emo. Like, you know what I mean? Like I listen to emo music. Most of the like. Onyx, All We Got Is Us. It's one of my favorite albums. Like, so like this. So, but like, my best friend always says that like I try to see the best in people, and sometimes it hurts because you're looking at somebody and going, well, maybe it's not this. And Charlemagne said something where he goes, "Be careful because you never know what someone else is going through," and it's 100% true. Like people will bump into you, but you don't know if they just got some bad news. Did they just lose their job? Did they just lose their loved one? So, like, you know what I mean? There are times when you kind of have to just look at, you can't really see what's going on in someone's life. So, yeah, I get that. And so, her going out and spreading the stuff like this, it didn't really help anything. It hurt her more than anything else. And on top of that, her attacking people makes her look even worse when it comes to the stuff that she was saying with Netflix. So there are people who would have rode with her for a while. Now they're kind of like, wait. Now you're attacking somebody who pretty much just stays to himself. And even when D.L. Hughley's one of those people, when he's been wrong, he'll be the first one to go on his show and be like, yeah, I was wrong. I was completely wrong for what I said, and he'll make sure that it's known that I was wrong for this. And I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, I actually... So the Breakfast Club interview with her and Charlemagne is like one of my go-tos when I'm not like having like a good day. I'm sorry, but I don't know why, but that brings me like black joy. And so like she actually did like I guess like a video about how she talked about D.L. Hughley's daughter, and that was like on Facebook. It was like an hour long. I couldn't do an hour because I'm not a big fan of calling. I'm not married, but I'm not a big fan of hearing the word daddy to like somebody's husband.
Yo, me and my wife talk about that all the time. Like you know, like, you call me daddy. No.
Yeah, and like the way that she says it to me, it's like there's something there. There's I don't know what it is, but there's like something there because like she would not end a sentence without calling him daddy. Like she's, I don't want to say trained, but it's like I guess like a natural thing for her to do. But on top of that, like he just kept like interrupting her, kept like telling his own business, and I was like, okay, there's something like totally like to her it might be normal. To me, I can't look at this no longer than like 20 minutes just to get the gist of what she was saying. And even in that video, she was trying to justify her reason for talking about D.L. Hughley's daughter, which is a Black woman that went through a trauma in her life. And it's like, again, you're attaching yourself to this unhappiness and trying to justify the reason why you're doing it. And calling people sweet babies is not helping. It's not, oh, my babies. No, like, I think someone commented, like, this is cult culture. This is, like, cult behavior. And I was like, I watch cult documentaries, like, to the T. This is definitely cult behavior. Because the people who are saying that are just responding to her, calling them babies and going out on a limb and just refuse to see her being wrong, they're a part of that culture of her, oh, my babies and daddies. So,
yeah, I'm not going to lie. You watching cult shows is not shocking to me at all. Like,
I love them. Oh my god.
Hold on, I'm actually adding a question.
Sure.
I have a game show I usually play at the end of my shows, and it's dependent on who's on there. So let's get out of that. I may split this up into 2 episodes because this one was a little bit deeper. It's about 30 minutes, so I may end this one now. No, I do want to talk about one thing because I introed us talking about it.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on Evil?
On Evil?
So for those who don't know, Evil is a supernatural show starring Mike Coulter, who was Luke Cage, who I think will be playing Luke Cage again eventually. Katja Herbers, that's the name. Michael Emerson, Christine Lottie, and Asif Mandev.
I think so.
And he rocks on this show because he's such. It's funny watching him. Yeah, like he still has that arrogance, comedic arrogance of him that fits because he's a complete atheist. But then when he sees some stuff and he has to get really serious, I love it.
Yeah.
Mike Coulter fits the priest role so well. And Katja Herbers isn't one of those, and I hate to say it like this, typical white women in shows like this.
Oh no, that's why I love her, because I'm actually I was actually watching the episode 1, season 2, which came out I guess Sunday.
Season 3 came out already?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on I is for IRS, and that's season 2.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit behind, but so you were saying, sorry.
Yeah. So I won't give anything away. I love this show because as I'm watching it, certain things that are like gory and unexplainable, I am over here cracking up, and I feel evil about laughing at some of the stuff.
Some of the stuff I laugh at, which, like, it's like some of the stuff I'm like, they're fictional characters. I don't care. But like, like some of the stuff that happens on Evil, and I can't wait to talk about Olivia Benson being the quip queen. But Evil, it's so weird. Like, there's an episode where Vanessa and Maggie split bodies, and and I don't want to tell people why, but watch Evil, you understand it, and then you find out that Maggie's actually a real person now, and I'm like, wait. So was she
what just happened?
Like,
like you think, like, what just happened?
So she was actually a real person this whole time. Like, I thought she was a conjoined twin, and then I was like, what is going on right now? Yeah.
And, I love her kids on there because, like, they're children, but they understand, like, so much. And the way that they're just, like, always, like, talking and just, like, going around and just, like, I just love the show. And, of course, like you said, Michael Coulter, his role is just, like, perfect. Like, It's not him trying. It's not him, like, lacking anything. It's just, like, it's him in this role. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. And I was kind of upset when it left Netflix and then it went to Paramount Plus, but I just got Paramount Plus. I think I got Paramount Plus for the South Park specials, and then I was like, Evil's on here too. So now I'm like, I'm all in on it now because Evil's on there too. And like, that's gonna. And I'm weird. I have to watch horror at night. So, So me and a wife will lay in bed, we'll watch Evil, and I forget what happened. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I stay alone, and what I have to do if I get scared, like I have to fast forward, like see the clips really fast, and I rewind back to prepare myself. I'm like, okay, that's what's going to happen. I'm good.
The only things that really scare me are demonic things scare the shit out of me. Those are the only things that get me. Like the Freddy Krueger movies, like the Hellraiser. None of those get me, but something that like is like super spiritual, supernatural, or like demonic. Those are the ones that really get me.
So, like, okay, that's one of the reasons why I like Eva, because, like, how she has, like, the night terror.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's, like, too good. Like, that can actually be real, in a way. Because we all have those moments where, like, we're asleep and, like, we can't move. Like, we're paralyzed. Yeah. So, that was, like, I think it was, like, in season 1, like, that was happening to her a lot. George. And I was like, I'm watching.
And it's funny, at the end of it on Paramount Plus, he'll go, "Hi, everybody, it's George." So I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this because I love George.
Right, like, why are you a whole character?
Oh, and Ben's night terror? Oh, man.
Yeah.
They should just fucking get it over with.
Pretty much. I mean, they're almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so good. So let's get into the reason we're here.
Sure.
We have bonded on Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
it's so what I ended up doing was my grandmother got first. Let me say, my grandmother got me into Law and Order. We went to New York to go visit family. It was the first my first big trip as like an adult without my parents. When my grandma was like, "Oh, I was like, I'm going to New York." She goes, "Oh, can I go with you so we can go visit family?" Da da da. So after we went and did a bunch of stuff, we chilled back at the hotel and we were watching Law and Order. And I had never seen this. This was early 2000s, and I had never seen Law and Order. So I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever!" And she goes, "Oh, if you love this," and it was Law and Order, Criminal Intent, because Detective Gordon is my guy. Detective Gordon is one of my favorite characters on there. We'll get to him later.
Yeah.
So, and then she goes, "If you like this, you'll like Special Victims Unit," and this guy Stabler. Stabler is a whole asshole. Like,
yeah. I'm not realizing that until I'm watching the Crime Unit. I'm like, was he like this the whole time?
He was worse. Have you gone back and watched the earlier seasons?
I have not, but it's funny how you said about you watching it at a hotel room, because anytime I go out of town, even though I watch it here at home, anytime like I'm out of town in a hotel room, Law and Order is playing on somebody's channel.
Oh, absolutely. It's like it's the USA TNT go-to. Like it's always and I love how they always have these like random things. It's always like the Olivia and the Benson marathon, the Ice-T marathon. They don't even creative anymore.
No, they're going to come out with one every weekend, I promise you.
Oh, 100%. I can't wait for the Ice-T Juneteenth Law and Order.
You know what? Well, hurry, it's because it's going to happen.
You know it. So do yourself a favor. Go on Hulu and start from season 1. It's cool because you'll see how far these characters have come and how some of them really don't change. Like Munch is Munch. Munch and Ice-T are always going to be them. Captain Kragen is always Captain Kragen. Olivia and Stabler have evolved a lot. Their core personalities are the same, and I think because of that is the reason why I do not want them to be together, because I never saw the sexual. Everyone's like, "Oh, the sexual tension." I'm like, what sexual tension? There's never been any.
No, I see frustration, aggravation, intolerance on Olivia's side. Like, he's calling me again for what? Like, what are you doing, Sable? Like, you keep calling me. You say you love me. Like, what are you doing? And she's looking like, I don't have time for this. I need to solve crimes and raise a child by myself.
For real.
So, yeah.
She's raising a whole ass child who's like, and like, I swear to you, like, he grew like 2 years in a year. Like, he's like, he found his identity. He's like owning who he is. He's this whole creative kid. I'm like, when did this happen?
When? I said that when I was watching it a couple of days ago. I was like, when did he end up in middle school? Like, what grade is he at? Like, what in the world? Just out the blue.
Yeah. Like next year he's gonna be like, oh, he's like, oh, you know, he just graduated 8th grade. He's going to 9th grade. I'm like, no, he's not. He absolutely
right.
It's gonna be a whole different kid.
Yeah, I'm like, his timeline is like way too advanced for the show.
For real. And so my thing has been, and I actually got into a debate. Oh, let me see if I can find this debate. Because there was somebody on Twitter I was talking to about this, and we were debating Stabler over, I was saying Barbara. I always thought that her and Barbara should have been the ones who got together.
I don't know.
There has been a lot of sexual tension between her and Barbara. Like, Barbara was flirting with her heavy, and it was just real subtle stuff. And I'm like, oh yes. And then the last episode he was in, he asked her out, and she was kind of taken aback, like, oh, and it wasn't one of those like, oh, not this. She was kind of like, you have my curiosity, now you have my interest, like that type of shit.
I'm listening.
Exactly. So I was wondering whether or not I can't find the conversation, but I really did think that they were going to be. I thought that they should have been the ones. And then, have you watched the season finale of this year of SVU?
I have not yet,
Okay,
but I will say that I feel like whoever Olivia's with, they're going to be like a bad person. She has not had a successful relationship since we've known her.
No.
At all. Like each person had like something or some issue that did not work out. So.
All right, so I found the conversation. It's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, and shout out to AskLoveXO on Twitter. She goes, listen, sir, Barbara fucked up big time defending Wheatley. That alone is a reason it would never work. She also only loves him as a friend. She's in love with Elliot. I go, nah. Their chemistry was more than friends. Speaking about Barbara, they were flirting, low key, high key. They were low key, high key flirting. I know I put flirting twice because when the Twitter fingers be going. But yeah, I was like, but defending Wheatley was some shit. She goes, unless the new showrunner pulls some shit, I think the Olivia, Elliot and Olivia is happening next season. They killed Stabler's wife because of it. And I go, they 100%. And I go, they 100% did. But that could be a fake out. You know, people are still waiting for the hookup. That won't happen until at least the season after next. She goes, unless they want the fandom to burn shit down, and trust me, they will. When Barbara comes back full time, I just don't see it happening. I love Barbara too, but I just want my Bensler and Stabler, Olivia and Bensler.
Yeah,
Olivia and I don't know.
She has like a whole hashtag ready for them.
Yeah, but she goes, agree to disagree, and I go, well, you're a wrestling fan. I sent a picture of this dude saying, "Burn it down."
Oh,
but again, positive conversation. It was fun. It was great.
Yeah.
But like I'm all for Barbara and Stabler, but I'm also trying to think that whether or not should Olivia even be with anybody? Like how does that? Because you brought up a really good point that all of her relationships. Actually, she had one positive relationship, and it was with the dude from Internal Affairs, which is hilarious considering how much gripe he gave her over the years. Yeah, but then didn't he end up like dying from cancer? Yes. Yeah. But and again, even then, there's tragedy. Yeah. I don't like. I would like to see how she would be in a relationship because honestly, I think like she posted like on Instagram like her personal life, and I was like, oh, she has like a whole family, like because I see her as Olivia, and I was like, oh, like how did she not like bring this home? Like she's been doing this for like 22 years. Yeah. So I would like to see how she has like that balance of relationship, like a good positive relationship, taking care of her son and solving crimes and crossing over to Stabler whenever he needs help. So she got herself okay, all right, I'm gonna say this and people can say whatever they want about it. She got herself a whole McMahon man. Yes. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Olivia. Yeah, she's doing okay then. 3 kids, and I'm like, all right, okay then. Do the damn thing. But she's pretty private about her life, and we see her as Olivia. So I would like to see her in a positive relationship, and that's dating. Right? No. Yeah. But I will say this: I don't like these crossovers because as I'm binge watching, I have to literally try to cross over on my streaming services. Yeah. To put them together. I just want to put it out there. I do enjoy that at least with Hulu, SVU, and Organized Crime are right next to each other. So at least with those two, I only have to do that. But I know with Peacock, if I want to watch Criminal Intent, I gotta go to Peacock for that. Yeah, but it's you have to try to match up the episodes to when they crossed it over. Yeah. And when they didn't, I'm like, oh my god, one more crossover, I'm going to scream. I don't even know what's going on, but yeah. Here was a topic, a Law and Order topic that you brought up that I didn't know. Yes. I'm sorry. Isaiah Whitlock has played Isaiah Whitlock Jr. If you don't know him, he's from The Wire. He's been, how many characters? 11 different characters. Yes, and every time I see him, I get the willies, or not the willies, but the because of one of the characters that he played, he was convicted of
raping like little boys, and I'm like, every time I see him, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the guy. But yes, 11 characters.
Yep. So what do we have? Characters. He's been Anthony White, Simon Brooks, Fred Oakes, Robbery Division Captain, Captain Navarro. What? Never mind. Todd Smythe, detective, just criminal intent. He was a detective. Unknown, CI Smothered, Law and Order. He was Gordon Samuels, NTCC representative, crime scene detective, and Captain Reese.
Yes. And the one that I remember him from is Simon Brooks, the Law and Order trophy one. And every time I see him, I look at, you see that suit he has on? That's how I see when I see him.
Hold on. I need to see what he... Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
I think I deleted that from my brain intentionally.
Right? I can't do it. Like, every time I see him, like, why did you have... Because he played the character so well, but it was, like, kind of creepy. And it's like, you have to move on with your life.
Do you have a favorite SVU? This is gonna sound weird. A favorite SVU criminal? Because mine is easily John Stamos.
Is it?
When he was, because he's impregnating all those women. He was just like, I love them all equally. I'm like, you are nasty as fuck.
You know what? I would have to say Isaiah Whitlock, because he definitely came back a couple of times to remind us that he was not the original character that I associate with. Like, he's like trying to justify that he came out of jail and ended up being a detective. So
you know what? Oh, what is her name? There's two people I know who's come back. Redhead, DA, SVU. What is her name? It's not Cabot. Is it Cabot?
No.
You'd figure that I would know this team as I watched the show fairly.
No, Cabot did come back.
It wasn't Cabot was the blonde-haired one, right?
Yeah.
So it's not Novak. So Casey Novak was actually in one of the seasons she played a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny seeing her as a criminal. And then like next year, she comes back and she's an ADA.
Yeah.
Carisi was a victim on the show. I think it might have been the same year. No, within like 12 episodes, so it might have been like the end of one season and then the beginning of the next. But Carisi played a criminal / victim. And then it'll become like, Carisi, the detective, and now ADA.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super cool. But it was funny seeing these people who play like different characters because the show's gone on so long that you're going to have people who come back. Yeah,
it's like, hey, we need to keep you on the call log.
Like, just in case.
Yeah, which, again, Isaiah Whitlock, yeah.
Is the new Law & Order worth watching?
Okay, so I'm a big Anthony Anderson fan. Are you already talking about that one?
Yes.
Yes. I enjoy it. I think again, this one was more of the courtroom side than the criminal side. So there's more of the angle of what's going on in the courtroom. I think by like the 4th episode, I was like, okay, this is more of the courtroom. This is not solving the crime. Because, like there were some episodes of a regular Law and Order. That's what I call it, because everybody forgets about that one.
Yeah.
Where Anthony Anderson was originally on there, which people didn't know that, which I don't know why, but whatever. But most of it was like, hey, bad guy, I'm going to arrest you. And then most of the other stuff was like evidence playing out in court. So that's what this is. So if you wanted to see it from the court point of view, I would say do that. They do talk about, how the laws are changing because we're asking people to, or reminding people that our Black Lives Matter. So that's definitely in there. A lot of politics and things like that. I've enjoyed it. I'm not caught up on it all the way. Again, I enjoy Anthony Anderson, but you can tell like the transition of him being on there, like 15 years ago maybe, or something like that, to now, because like it just like kind of like picks up back where it came from as far as that goes. And then the guy from Burn Notice, which I can't think of his name.
I know his name too.
Let me look it up. He is like the new cop, so he's just trying, not a new cop, but he's just trying to like understand like the ins and outs of everything. So I enjoy it for what it is. Yes, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I know it too. I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but yeah, like my name is Michael Weston.
So yeah, I enjoy it, like I said, for what it is. It's more on the courtroom side than on the crime side. I'll say that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try. I like Michael Weston. Anthony Anderson's one of those guys who I either love him or I'm kind of mad about him. He rocked in Blackish. Like every time, Blackish is one of those shows that I watched the first 4 seasons and then I stopped. Not out of dislike for it, I just stopped. I started watching some of Grownish, but then I realized a lot of this really wasn't for me, so I stopped. Mixedish is my shit.
I didn't watch Mixedish. Now, Grownish I loved because Black Joy was like all in there, and it educated me a lot about our blackness as far as like I think that was like to me the first show that celebrated like a Juneteenth episode before it became a national holiday now. Yeah. So I appreciate like the black announcement that they did. I have not, because I don't like watching like the last episode of certain seasons. I have not watched the last episode of Blackish because I know I'm going to be like crying on the floor somewhere. I'm going to be like the Anthony Anderson crying on the couch.
My wife makes fun of me.
That's going to be me. So in my mind, I'm like I love the show. And I push it so much on my podcast, but again, I feel like the last episode I'm going to be like, oh my god, what happened?
So I'm like that with a lot of shows that I love. My wife makes fun of me because like if I really like a show, it takes me a while to watch the final season on things.
Yeah.
The series finale. I was like that with The Good Place, which I still think has the best and most heartfelt ending I've ever seen. Like
I haven't seen it yet.
It's I loved Schitt's Creek so much. And I think that my anticipation for the last episode was like, my anticipation for it was so high that I don't think it could have met the expectations. And it was good. I just wanted more.
Well, I enjoy that show so much that I haven't watched like the last season of it because I feel like it's mine as long as I don't watch the last season. Like The Office, anytime I watch it on TV and it gets an episode like season 9, I'm like, no. Go back to one. So
have you watched the last episode of The Office?
No, not yet.
Okay. It's sweet. And I gotta say that they also wrapped up the show pretty well in a way that shows the growth of specific characters that I like.
Oh my god, I ain't no crying. Okay. Mine too. I know that when it comes, like Comedy Central like plays it like every day. So I know even when I watch like the last episode of that season, I'll be like, okay, there goes season 1. So yeah, it's just me.
There was what was the other one? Futurama. Futurama also had Futurama's up there too because it was literally they just started everything all over again. I was like, okay, this was cool. Like there was, and some of them are good. And then there's a question I'm going to ask in this game show that we're about to do now, which kind of plays into the last thing. So what we're doing now is just a random. Some of it's Law and Order, some of it is other TV shows. Most of it's Law and Order because I was kind of thinking some stuff on the side.
Okay.
We'll play a game. Are you ready?
Sure.
Who is the best ADA on Law and Order?
Oh my gosh. The white old guy. I can't think of his name. You put me on the spot. 1 second, I'll find it. You know who it is.
Oh, what's his name? Like he's like one of the first ADAs who's ever been on Law and Order.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
What is his name?
Because he played in oh my gosh, what's that TV show? That on Netflix. He was like the husband.
I know he was in I think he was in Dropout. Wasn't that the grandfather in Dropout?
I think so. I'm trying to find Law and Order.
Pretty sure
my
he's number
gosh.
one. I found a list and I'm pretty sure he's number 1.
Oh, I found him. But what's his name?
Oh,
the white gray hair?
Jack McCoy.
Yes. I enjoy it because, there are like a lot of episodes of Law and Order where like he lost the case. He's looking like, what the hell?
Like, I can't lose. What kind of bullshit is this?
Yeah, I remember me and my sister, me and my sister, like in a hotel room, we were like watching Law and Order, and it was like 3 episodes back to back where like he would not win. I was like, what the hell's going on? He's looking like, who wrote this shit?
Like, this is
Why am I
bullshit.
not winning?
So for me, it's Cabot. Barbara is my favorite, but Alexandra Cabot, she murks it. Like, and she doesn't take any crap from any of them.
Yeah.
So and I remember it was her first year, or it was within the first season of her being the ADA, and someone was like, "Can't you use one of your favorites?" She goes, "I haven't even been here a year, and I've used up most of my favorites with you guys."
Like, what do you want me to do? Yeah, she was pretty honest.
Oh, yeah.
And I did like the other lady that was like, she was good until like she got drunk and she had like an alcohol problem.
Yeah. Her and Stable used to go at it.
They did. I was like, isn't that calling the kettle black? So I think like the trial was like about a man being drunk.
Yeah, and she ends up. So
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Who's the worst detective on Law and Order?
Oh my God! I tell you, 1 second. I don't like her at all. I want her removed.
I bet you I can guess who it is.
Who is it?
Carisi's girlfriend.
Yes. Let me tell you why. Let me see if I can do it. This is what she says. I don't know, Liv. Are you sure? I don't know, Liv.
do you want to hear something really?
I don't know.
Do you want to hear something really fucked up?
So aggravating.
Me and my buddy call her Leatherface.
No. 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 I don't see it. I don't see it.
Wait till you see her again. Look, it's so my buddy said, you know that there was a new Halloween movie that came out. Not Halloween. New Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he goes, he goes, oh, what is her name?
Amanda Rollins.
Rollins, yeah. And he was just like,
yeah,
he goes, you know Rollins got her own movie? I said, really? So he sends me the trailer for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was like, yo, you are fucked up for that.
Horrible. Horrible.
Yo, I can't stand her, though.
She's so aggravating. I don't know, Liv. Are you sure? I really yelled at my TV. Liv has been doing this for 22 years. Leave her alone. Stop doubting her.
Can I tell you how pissed I was when there was a Spanish woman who was on SVU and they let her go last year. Her and the black dude left the show. She left the show after she got shot.
Oh, okay.
Edits, Law and Order. I can't remember her name, and you'd figure that because I loved her as much as I did.
Oh, was she like kind of new?
Yeah,
she was new.
She lasted like a season and a half. I really felt like she was going to be the new Olivia Benson. She was completely inclusive. She fought for the rights of LGBTQ. She was super on like, hey, make sure that you she was really heavy on make sure like prostitutes, professional sex workers get the rights they deserve. And,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that was one of those things where I was just like, yo, this is too good not to let. She was too good to like not do it. And I remember her saying on her Twitter how she was just like, apparently I'm not going to be in next season. I was like, what?
Yeah, Jamie Gray Hader. Is that her name?
Say it again.
Jamie Gray Hader. That was her. Okay, you talking about Kat?
Jamie. Yes, her.
Yeah.
When she was off the show, I'm like, yo, like, what do you mean she's not on? She's like the best part of the show so far.
I like her, but again, I feel like if you're questioning Olivia, then I don't know.
Well, do you know the funny thing about it is she was like, I forget it. What's her name? Kat? Was that her name on the show?
Yeah, Kat. Mm-hmm.
So like she was questioning Liv on stuff that Liv would never. It was like they put her. It was like they were trying to balance Olivia's super wokeness, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
By making her do it. So I saw what she was doing, but again, like you said, it's like Wait, Liv, what? You know this.
Right, yeah. And she was also, questioning like Carisi's like being an attorney. Like, he just got in there, sis. Like, calm down.
Yeah. Yeah, she was, I loved her, but she wasn't there. Who's
but
the
like you said, they're supposed to challenge the characters that's already there, so she definitely did that.
Who's your favorite detective combo? So I'll tell you right now, it's
Sure.
Munch and Ice-T.
I can see that.
I love them.
Okay, so I'll go with Anthony Anderson and when he was with the other guy a long time ago. Oh my gosh. Hold on. We already have these names because she came up with the questions. One second.
You'd figure that I would like
what was his name? Oh, there you go. Wait, one second. Because they used to like during like the old episodes, not his partner, not his wife.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and it was like Alvina Stewart. I'm like, what?
1998, I guess. Okay. No, I'm not SVD.
Hey, listeners, bear with us, and I know you're probably like yelling at the.
Oh my God, they gonna cancel me?
They're literally yelling at the like this. It's this person.
Right, I'm sure.
Man, who was his former cast?
Agree.
It's not even giving me. You know what? We'll just go with that.
But yeah, Anthony Anderson and the guy back then, because they'll arrest somebody, but then they'll make like a joke about it, and it was like so dry.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even get to. Let me just say this: Olivia is the best when it comes to the snarky remark. No one does that better than she does.
Ice-T does it sometimes.
Huh?
Ice-T does it sometimes.
But Ice-T does it, but when he does it, it's kind of like I kind of feel like it's the jokes only we'll get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he made like a joke like about his Jordans or something. He was like, "Hey, you stepping on my Jordans?" or something like that.
And you can never forget the most famous Ice-T line. They on the down low. And then Stabler going, the down low? I was like, what? Have you seen that episode?
I believe so. Oh my gosh, I have to look back through my library. But the Bodega Boys he always be like, they did it, Liv. Like,
yeah.
He did it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character, I would say, I like Olivia. I feel like when I watch her, I'm like, sis, what are we going to do today? Because you don't have a good day, sis.
So I'm going to go Barba, but a close second is Captain Cragen.
Okay.
Who's your most detested character? I'm going Carisi. I feel that he is just one of the dumbest people on.
Do you?
Oh man, he is just dumb as hell. Every time he opens his mouth, I'm just like, oh, you're gonna say something stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back with Rollins.
Together.
It's that whole, I don't know, Liv. I don't know. Well, like you said, together you have a dumb attorney and me, a doubtful person. So I wonder if that's gonna work out.
Oh, she's probably already knocked up.
More than likely. I can see that. That'll be her third child. That's the thing. How come she gets to have these multiple children and have this happy ever after, and Liv, the person that she keep doubting, is out here solving crime?
Because Rollins be fucking.
You're right.
There is she be out here just she just be like, hey,
it is what it is.
I want it. Come, you want it? Come get it. And she's just like, I'm gonna do it. Oh, you're
right. You heard about that.
Is Detective Gorin from Criminal Intent the smartest detective on the show?
1 second. Let me see.
Oh,
That's his face.
He was Kingpin in Vincent D'Onofrio. He was Kingpin in Daredevil. He was the Bug in Men in Black.
Oh yes! Oh my God! Yes, he psychologically is the smartest. Yeah.
I feel like he knows every little fact about every little thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're moving.
Like people were like down him, but like yeah, he's like, let me just close this room door, interrogate these people till they just tell me what happened.
Yeah, and he just sits there and it's just like this whole like, and then this happened. All right, so we're moving away from Law and Order, and I just have 3 random questions. What is the best show on Hulu? What's the best show on Netflix? And what's the best show on HBO Max?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm a big fan of cults. I don't even know how to say like a big fan of cults because it sounds like I'm a fan of a cult. So a little small story. So I'm in school and I took like religious studies, and I had to do a 900-word essay about Nexium, which is like a cult.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like I'm like a cult expert now. So so one of the shows that I just got done watching, and I made my coworker watch it too, was Be Good. Wait, okay, sorry, 1 second. Yes, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. It's about the fundamentalist Mormons. It's really good. Which again, I feel like it's like bad to say it's like a really good because it's a documentary about multiple men being married to like multiple wives, like 30 to 60 wives, and having like multiple children. But the way that they document it, it's like, how is this like the mindset of people? But I'm learning through cults, like people just want to belong. So I would suggest watching that on Netflix. Yeah.
Oh, what's it called?
It is called. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Oh, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I would say on a lighter note, Hustlers is really good too. If you just wanted something to laugh at.
What is?
So,
what show?
Either Hustlers with and Adam Sandler and Queen Latifah.
Oh, I'm all in on Queen Latifah. She does anything, so.
Yes. Oh my. Yes. I can't wait till I can like see her and like hug her. That's like one of my goals.
What's the worst TV show ending ever? I'm going Dexter. I don't know if anything ever defeats the season finale. The series finale of Dexter was just the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen.
Was it?
But
I would just say this because I love this show so much. Seinfeld was like.
I've never seen the end of it. I've never seen the series finale of that. But I've heard
it's not awesome. The worst. Like everything makes sense. The thing is, people always say like it's a show about nothing, but at the end of it, not giving anything away, it's really about karma. If you keep that in mind when you're rewatching the shows, you'll be like, oh, that just came back around. So.
No, well, yeah.
So, yeah.
That makes. Oh God, now I really want to watch. Now I feel like I need to just go back and just watch the final episode.
I love Seinfeld.
And lastly, what is your go to sleep show?
Okay, so I watch two shows because it just depends on what season it's on, so it won't be the end. Either Golden Girls,
yo,
or well, it's because it goes into that, and then I think like TV Land like plays it like at 10 o'clock or Hallmark or something. Yeah. So either Golden Girls or 3.5 Men, which I only watched up into before left. Like when Ashton Kutcher was on there, it was trash to me. Like I did not like it whatsoever. It was so dumb.
So if I'm just going to sleep, it's usually South Park or Family Guy or Rick and Morty. I usually go with something that like I've seen a bunch of times.
I would stay up for that stuff though.
So my favorite movie of all time is V for Vendetta. I love that movie. It's so damn poetic. It's so dope. But if I cut that on and I'm ready to go to bed, I'm out in like 2 minutes because the voices are just so low and calm. And I'm just like, and I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I cut it on to the part where he gives the speech, and I was like, I didn't even get through the speech, and I was already knocked out. I woke up.
Already asleep?
Yeah, it was done. It was a wrap.
Yeah, my when I tell people that I can fall asleep to sitcoms, they're like, how? There's people like laughing in the background. I'm like, I don't hear none of that. Like, but like if I know like because I normally like wake up like at 3 o'clock is my wake up moment for I don't know what reason, and like you like everybody loves Raymond's on or Frasier or Cheers. Like I'm up for like another like 2 hours like watching that, or the Old Adventures of New Christine, which I love. You never seen that?
No.
Oh, it's on HBO Max. You have to watch it. Wanda Sykes is on there.
Oh,
and,
I love Wanda.
And Elaine from Seinfeld is on there.
I'm gonna actually go right
to
HBO Max now.
So when you watch it, you have to tweet me.
Oh God,
please, because sometimes like I be up like doing like hashtag the old bitch old Christine. I'm like, nobody's watching this but me.
What's it called again?
The New Adventures of Old Christine. And the guy from the Marvel TV shows on there. I can't think of the thing. Oh my gosh.
I'm looking at it now. Oh, Coulson.
Yes.
All right. I just added it to my list.
And actually there was a meme or I guess like I would say Christine was like meeting Coulson somewhere. And they were like the reunion of the Adventures of Old Christine or something like that. So yeah, but oh my gosh, it is so funny to me. It's like 5 seasons.
5 seasons, 20-minute episodes. Oh, so this is like a sitcom.
Yes.
I'm mad. Episode 2 is called Supertramp. Yeah. Yep, I'm all in. You got me. I'm all in.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a thing on my show where I call it Riri's Recommendations, so I'm recommending that you watch that.
Riri's recommendation is The New Adventures of Old Christine. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Please tweet me when you watch them.
I absolutely will. I gotta finish Evil, and I gotta finish the Girl from Plainville.
I think I watched that, but not the end of it. So I need to go back and watch that. I think I got stuck between watching that and Pam, and I finished Pam.
Can I tell you, Hulu is killing these like dramatizations of real events.
Yeah. I just got done watching Candy, and I was like, what the hell did I just get done watching?
Yo, I just finished Candy 2 days ago, and we jumped right into this. And before that, Dropout was my shit. I could not wait. I was all in on Dropout. And before that, it was Dope Sick. And Dope Sick blew my mind.
Yeah. I was excited about Dropout because I watched a documentary on HBO Max. I think I told you about.
You may have.
So I kind of, I think it was somebody on Twitter, but I kind of like the backstory of it. I think it's called like One Drop or something like that. So when I watched like the actual show, I was like, okay, this is still crazy with it just being like acting out. So it's amazing what white people get just saying I got it.
Oh, crime of the century.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my wife works in the medical field, and so a lot of the stuff she knew, but then finding out that like the people in Purdue who created these opioids also created the pain scare.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, y'all are nasty.
Yeah, I'm watching the one on Hulu gave me a better understanding. Because you know how I watched like the Dave Chappelle when he's talking about like just say no to drugs or whatever. And I'm like, no, I kind of have a better understanding of like the addiction trail of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and here it is, episode. Oh, is this like? Oh, this is. Oh, so it's only 2 episodes for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just added that to my list. So yeah, so I got that. I'm definitely gonna check both of those out. Like I added them both to the list as we were talking. So
awesome.
I'm all in. So everybody, this has been the Old Man Way Show. Rebecca, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, crownless.com. Where I do my blog, my book and Bloom reviews, and also the Crown Talk podcast and Conversation Sundays where I speak with authors about their books. And then also you can find me at FTCC podcast, that's Flowers for the Culture podcast with my co-host, Mr. Al Pete, where we're giving flowers to celebrities, music, just giving flowers to the culture now. And then Crownless_COM on Instagram. And I'll be on Twitter. I'll just say that.
Yeah, really
my name is like very long.
You be on Twitter. And like it's funny because like you pop up and say all the random stuff that I do, like just out of nowhere. But it's just kind of like, so like it'll be on there, like it'll be like, something will be trending. And I just go, oh no, this bitch didn't just do that. #SVU. like it's just like, oh, how do you motherfuckers do? And I just see myself slowly get angrier and angrier.
Yeah, I'm usually on Twitter if I'm watching a TV show because I just I love like hashtagging and seeing like what other people's thoughts are. So yeah, I'm definitely on there when I'm watching something on TV, and then I'm like, oh man, Wayne's watching the same thing. Let me ask his opinion. So yeah, definitely.
So you can find me, and you can find, well, obviously you can find me on the show right now, but you can also find me on the Bald Black Nerds podcast. It'll be myself, Red Hood Wade, and my co-hosts Brandon Grayson and Woke Von Doom, where we're on there doing the damn thing. It's us just it's just so far it's just been comic book stuff, but for the most part we're getting into like more nerdy stuff. Like we just did an episode that'll be out Wednesday about I think that was next week. But we did an episode like talking about Star Trek and things like nerdy stuff. So we'll definitely be talking about Star Trek. We're gonna be talking about Star Wars. We're gonna get into some wrestling stuff, and Brandon wants to talk some NBA stuff because he was like, there's a lot of nerds out there who'd appreciate that as well. So we're gonna do that. We're not on iTunes yet because shenanigans, but I'm waiting for that to happen. But we are on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Player FM, Samsung, and Podchaser. But again, so if you listen to this, this show is on iTunes, but the Bald Black Nerds podcast will be on iTunes hopefully by next week if Podbean gets their shit together. But we're also supposed to be joining a podcast network soon. Or Bald Black Nerds supposed to be doing a podcast network soon. The Dorkening, which we'll announce later on when that actually does happen.
Awesome.
But Rebecca, thanks for joining me. This has been great. And when more TV stuff comes out, or if there's just anything you want to do, please come back. You were fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel like a welcome guest, so thank you.
All right, everybody. As always, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Damn it, Wade!